So I wanted to talk about the 7-day challenge. And the 7-day challenge is something that is really easy because it's like, 15 to 20 minutes a day for 7 days of practicing a really fun earth skill that, you're excited about learning and growing. But it's really a little tricky. And in a way, this 7-day challenge is really a perfect example of what I call coyote teaching. Because in coyote teaching, there's the obvious lesson, which is getting better at fire making, getting better at pottery, getting better at carving, first aid, knots, whatever it is somebody chooses to do. But there's the deeper lesson. And the deeper lesson behind that is one that I'm really interested in sharing with you so that you can get really awesome results. So my coach, Shanda Sumter, said that something that really rocked me to my core. It sounds so simple, and yet it makes a lot of sense. And this quote that she gave me says, "Success loves preparation." And I know that sounds obvious, but man, it's really, really true. And so what I'm doing with the Earth Skills 7-Day Challenge is I'm basically setting you up to have a really powerful success. And it starts with our attitude. It starts with our mindset. And it starts with us really looking at what is it that we're going to do, and then beginning to create a plan around that of what can we do for 15 to 20 minutes a day, and what are we committed to doing? What are we going to really promise ourselves that we're going to give ourselves this gift? And then how do we maintain that commitment throughout the program, throughout the 7 days, and then how do we celebrate it on the other side? So basically, I'm going to over-prepare you so that you can have the success that you really want. So that's what this video is about. It's about helping you ensure your success. And not only for your success, but also for any of the kids that you might be doing this challenge with, or your family, or your friends, or your coworkers. However this shows up for you that you're doing it, I want to make sure it's as good as it can possibly be so that you can really look back on it and say, man, that was awesome. So I'll just start right off the bat and say everything hinges on your attitude. So you want to think about being as positive as you can and staying very focused and very clear. And when we do the 7-day challenge, a part of this is about what are you committing to? What are you committing to that you're really going to wake up in the morning, or, take a quick lunch break and then get into the skill, or do right after work, or however you're going to do this. Are you willing to commit to something to really growing your skills for yourself and for your family? And when you do that, you have to really look at your life and go, maybe you're a doctor and you're like, hey, I'm going to have 70-hour shifts, nonstop or something. In which case you may have to modify it. You may have to say, you know what, I'm going to do 2 days and I'm going to do an hour each day, and then have 3 days where I'm not going to be able to do it because I need my rest, and then catch up. You can plan it any way you want. No one's going to be watching you. No one cares. The bottom line is we want you to be successful. So be realistic about it. You don't want to say, oh, I've got 15 to 20 minutes a day. I'm going to build a shelter. I'm going to make a fire. I'm going to cook some food. I'm also going to rappel down a cliff, and I'm going to tan 5 moose hides or something. You can't do all of that in 15 minutes. So you're going to want to really look at it and get realistic in your planning. Number 2 is you want to think about what is the goal that you want to accomplish. So, for example, a lot of people are choosing various skills, like one guy's choosing knots. And so he's thinking like, hey, I'm going to do a different knot each day, and each day I add a new knot, but I'm also going to practice the ones before. And so, I know he's thinking, I'm probably going to end up being like close to 45 minutes on the last day. But he's like, I'm cool with that. That'll work out good. You have to be realistic about what you're thinking. So somebody else was saying, I'm just going to read my field guide about wild edible plants. I'm going to read one plant. I'm going to read about it, and then I'm going to go outside and see if I can find it. So that's a really awesome, plan. Another one is someone who just wants to practice making a fire without matches. Someone else wants to do some flint knapping and stone tools, making arrowheads. or something like that. So whatever it is, really keep in mind that you want to do this and do something that's new. So in other words, if you're a wilderness instructor right now and you've already got like a million skills, don't do cordage or something you've already done 1,000 times. Pick something you've never done before that maybe you've been kind of waiting, and just see where that takes you, and see if that is a goal for yourself to say, okay, at the end of the 7 days, I'm going to have 7 new plants. I'm going to have 7 new birds. I'm going to have, you know, whatever it is. And then get excited about that and ask yourself, why did you choose it? Why? What are you thinking about? Like, what is it that you really want to get out of this experience? Because there's something about focused study that really grows your skills, and it feels really good because you're giving this gift to yourself. You're really giving this nature and this skill to yourself. You're willing to put yourself out there and then practice and learn, and then you're going to get back this wonderful gift. So that's another kind of coyote lesson in this. Okay, so moving on. So I have a sheet that you can download that has you know, what you're committing to, what's your goal, when you're gonna do it, and then it talks a little bit about safety and hazards. So what I want you to do is to think really carefully. What are you going to practice? If you're doing stone tools, make sure that you have a first aid kit, because stone tools are sharp. If you're doing something that involves dust, like you're sanding a bunch of bone, well, you don't want to breathe that bone dust. That bone dust gets in your lungs and it never comes out. And it's good little sharp particles that are really bad for you. So if you're going to do bone with kids, do you have breathing? You know, are you going to do it outside with a nice breeze blowing away from you? If you're going to do something that involves any kind of carving or whatever, you know, ask yourself, do I need eye protection? Do I need dust masks? Do I need gloves? If 3 people come over and want to do it with you, do you have the right equipment so that everybody can be safe? So this is really obvious, but I'm just building this into your study plan as a kind of an instructor type skill, to just say, hey, you're worth it. You know, you're worth having a first aid kit to help you if you get hurt. And your kids are worth it. And so is your wife, and so is your husband, and so is your friends and family and coworkers. So anybody that's around, it's that you're going to be telling everyone when you have that first aid kit front and center, man, we really care about you, and you know, you care about yourself, and it makes you feel good when all of a sudden you need a Band-Aid and it's right there, and it feels really good to knock that out. Think a lot about, too, about just if you're going to be going outside and you're going to be like collecting stuff outside, think about who's going to do this with you. Make sure they know what poison ivy looks like. Make sure they know whatever scorpions look like, or snakes, or whatever the hazards are in your area. You know, maybe you have ticks in that area and you want to go for a walk each day. Maybe that's your thing. You're just going to go for a walk and eat a nature walk for 20 minutes in a really new area. So just make sure that you check for ticks. Make sure that you do all the things you need to do to stay safe, so you feel good and you feel like you can have a success and everybody's in good shape. So the more you do that, the better prepared you're going to be successful. The next thing you need is materials. What do you need? If you're making a basket, do you have all the basket supplies? Prep them now if you can, before the program. Like, don't wait till Saturday or Sunday and you know you're about to start and then all of a sudden have to run to the store, and now all of a sudden your 20 minutes are gone because you're at the store. So really think about, what are you going to need? What are your supplies? What are your materials? Are there things you need to gather? Are there things that you need to buy? Are there tools you need? Any of that sort of stuff, try to get that out of the way and plug that into your schedule now, so that you're successful when it starts on June 1st or whenever we do this again. Another thing that I thought about, because a few days ago it started pouring rain here. It was raining all day, and it was heavy rain. It was not the kind of rain you wanted to go out and just practice your skills in, unless you're practicing fire making in the rain. Then it was perfect. But I thought about this a lot because I was like, you know, it's really good to have a contingency plan. If you're planning on going for a hike each day, no matter what, you know, that's when you want to go, okay, do I have spare clothes in my car so I can change out of them if I get soaked, so I can then not get hypothermia? Do I have a rain gear? Do I have a tarp that I can put up over my workshop area so that me and the kids aren't going to get wet when we're out there carving? Do you have a barn or garage, or what's your backup plan for weather? If it's really, really hot, what are you going to do? If it's really cold, what are you going to do? If it's really rainy, what are you going to do? if your friends all cop out on you and they were all going to come, but then they just bailed at the last minute, be prepared for those contingencies to say, all right, I'm still going to manage to meet my goals. And so be prepared mentally to go, I'm going to practice even if no one shows up. I'm going to do something. So make sure you have a backup plan. And this is also, the contingency plan kind of falls right into your commitment. A lot of times I've seen people where they let themselves off the hook real easy. So they'll say, oh, okay, I'm gonna practice my fire making, and my friends are gonna come and everything else. And then their friends don't show up, and then they go, well, my friends weren't here, so I guess I can't do it. And they just kind of give up. And so what you're doing is you're sending a message to yourself that you're not really able to follow all the way through, and you're sending a message that's not a positive message, that you're not going to feel good about. And so you want to make sure that you know that whatever your contingency plan, what's your contingency plan if you miss a day? Say you just forgot, say you just did not have any time that day. What is your contingency plan so that you can keep your commitment? And so, think about that and really look at that, because if you condition your mind to like, oh, something came up, oh, it rained, oh, there was wasps over here by this wall, so we couldn't do this, or, oh, we were going to paint the house, or whatever. If you condition your brain that if something comes up and then you just give yourself that excuse to just give up, then that's kind of how you'll start to do other things. If you do it with earth skills, you might do it with relationships. If you do it with relationships, you might do it at work. If you do it at work, you might do it at school. You might do it with your homework. You might do it in a lot of different ways. And when you start doing that, I can tell you from personal experience, if you give yourself those outs and then you let yourself off the hook, what happens is that it's really, really bad for your personal integrity. And it makes it really, it's not good. It's not a good habit to get into. And so that's part of the training. That's part of the secret behind this, is to pattern yourself to not do that. So it's really a gift that I'm trying to give all of you who are doing this program. So make sure you have a contingency plan. And the other piece I'll throw in there as part of that is, do you have a phone a friend? Who's your friend that you're going to go to if you get stuck halfway through the program? Now, if you're in our Facebook group and you're doing it, you've got probably 100 friends that you're going to be able to contact on Facebook and say, hey, everybody, I need help. And I guarantee you, if you give out a shout out for help, your friends will come through. Your friends on Facebook, people you don't even know, will do everything they can to help you. They'll look up links for you on Google that you could probably look up yourself. They'll help you find resources you need. They'll support you, and they will be right there to help you if you need help. So reach out if you get stuck and ask for what you need. And that's another thing we're teaching you. It's just like in nature. If you know what you need in nature, then you know that it's all around you. Nature's all around us, and it has the answers we need. But we have to reach out and ask for it, and we have to know what we're looking for. And so we can help with that. But if you have a friend who's really good at some of the skills that you're particularly working on, make sure you know, hey, can I call you on Wednesday or Tuesday or something if I'm getting stuck? Just check in with them. It's good to have a little phone a friend plan. And they'll usually be really happy to help you out. Let's see, the next one is accountability. So accountability kind of goes right into the plan there. So when you make your commitment, it's a good idea to give that commitment letter to someone that you trust and say, hey, I'm committing to doing this. Can you just help me be accountable? And they will, just tell them, hey, this is what I'm doing. Will you just give me a call and make sure I'm supported through this? And if I complete this, can you help me with a little celebration? Will you go out and have a beer or something? Or would you want to go out and get ice cream? Or would you want to go celebrate with a good dinner, or go see a movie, or go buy a really cool tool, or something that you've been wanting? Like, give yourself that little reward for following through, because those little rewards are really helpful for us to celebrate. and it also helps us to stay accountable, and it also keeps us moving in the right direction. Some people need a negative they need like a negative connection. So they kind of go like, all right, if I don't do this, then I lose $20. Every day I don't do it, I lose $20 for the 20 minutes that I didn't do my skill. And so you give them $140 or something, and then you go, take that off if that happens or whatever. And then that way, that's a thing, because you're going to lose something. Some people go because they're going to gain, and some people they're more motivated by what they're going to lose. It doesn't matter. You know yourself more than I do, but I've seen it work on both sides. And what I really want to say is, like, set yourself up. Don't let yourself off the hook. Give yourself a plan that will succeed, and then celebrate at the end. It's going to feel so good to do this. I know the power that these skills have, and I also know the power of completing these tasks and the power of commitment. And you're going to be giving yourself this success you're going to ride that into the summer. So if you start this in June, you're going to ride that into the season and hopefully keep going and really starting to accomplish your goals, even when there's just 15 minutes a day. So anyway, please reach out to me and to anybody else in the group if you are getting stuck anywhere. And I hope you have a really good time doing this. Hope it's a lot of fun. And the bottom line is that no matter what happens, we're going to learn a lot. And use the sheets I have. I also have a journaling sheets that you can write down what you experienced, what you did each day. And then you'll see how quickly they accumulate, because 7 of those sheets will add up, and you'll be like, hey, I learned a bunch this time. So you'll be able to look back and actually see what you did, as opposed to having it just up here and having it be more of a memory. Anyway, excited, 7-day challenge. We're going to do it. I'll see you later. Thanks.